Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson. It is NFL Draft Week, so we have a lot of draft coverage to talk about today, but maybe a bigger story coming out of Berea and coming out of Cleveland, Ohio, isn't so much about the draft. It's about our good friend Baker Mayfield. The trade we've all been waiting to see has not happened yet, at least not as I film and say this right now. So where could Baker end up? Well, we've been waiting for an update on this, and we do have a bit of a news update that came across. Ian Rapoport, bless his heart, woke us up this morning with this, saying the Browns are not expected to trade for the Panthers, I beg your pardon, are not expected to trade for Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield prior to the first round of the NFL draft, sources say. If they do it at all, boom, 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 Thursday has to play out first before any other options are considered. Carolina picks number 6. So what does that mean? In English, the Panthers are most likely waiting to see if Malik Willis is there at pick number 6. Maybe that's who the Panthers are eyeing. And if the Lions shock everyone, and in the second overall pick in the draft, they go quarterback, despite having an expensive quarterback in Jared Goff already on the roster, then all of a sudden Carolina may go, you know what? Our quarterback rankings went like this. We wanted Malik Willis. Okay, we saw the Lions pick him, or the Giants made a shocking pick at 5 right before them. If we can't get Willis, we'd rather go with Baker Mayfield. So we're going to wait and see if we can get Willis at 6. And if we can't, then we're going to roll with Baker Mayfield. Here's my pitch to the entire Panthers front office and organization, especially head coach Matt Rule. You need to win now. You know, I don't think you have time to draft a rookie quarterback like Malik Willis, win 4-5 games next season, get fired, and then all of a sudden that rookie quarterback you picked it for the next head coach, really. Because let's face it, even the fantastic quarterback class we had last year, except for Mac Jones, it wasn't like Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, or Trey Lance set the world on fire, and they were a much better prospect coming out last year than Malik Willis is this year. You need to win now if you want to have a job for Malik Willis' future. Or else you're just picking the quarterback for the next GM and then the next head coach. So take Baker so you can at least win some games this year, keep your head above water, and then next year, if you hate Baker after one season, fine. Go get a rookie quarterback in the next draft class that has actual talent, in C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. Speaking of Baker, though, what's his trade value in your eyes? A third rounder, a fourth rounder? Listen, I usually think it would be a second. If the Browns traded Baker back in February, before they got Deshaun Watson, rolled the dice, and it all worked out because they got Deshaun, I think Cleveland could have gotten a second. I really do. But if you beat everyone to the punch of where a handful of other quarterbacks went, I mean, I know the Steelers wouldn't have traded for Baker, but still, Trubisky went there, and you have Matt Ryan go to Indianapolis. The Commanders get Carson Wentz. If you beat everyone to that, free agency push and some early trades, maybe you get a second rounder. Now, the market's dried up. Teams know you have to get rid of him. What used to be a second round pick, maybe it's a fourth round pick. Let's move on to some draft sleepers because the NFL draft is coming up. And even though the Browns don't have that first round pick, that doesn't mean they can't make some noise in day 2 and day 3 in the draft. We all love a good sleeper pick, from fantasy football to the NFL draft. So I've got 5 sleepers to keep an eye on for when, rounds 3, 4, 5 are up, and not necessarily round 7, but just players that if you see him on the draft board, you'd be like, damn, that one Browns YouTube guy told me he was a sleeper. I hope the Browns get him. First one up is Calvin Austin, wide receiver out of Memphis. If you remember back to the Senior Bowl, the Browns actually met with Calvin Austin. So you know that there is some interest between Cleveland and Calvin Austin. Not sure if it has materialized, if it has grown to much more, but Calvin Austin could be an excellent pick for the Browns if they didn't go wide receiver in round 2, because you know what they said? We would rather have, say, Travis Jones in round 2 and Calvin Austin in round 3 than wide receiver in round 2 and defensive tackle in round 3. So keep an eye on Calvin Austin as that day 2 wraps up. He'll be right around late second, early third, maybe he even falls into the 4th round. A 4th round target would be an awesome pick if you got Jelani Woods, the tight end out of Virginia. Used to be a quarterback, went to Oklahoma State, Then he converted to a tight end, transferred to the Hoos over in Virginia, and he was a one-year starter this past season. Only's got that one start on his belt. But I wonder if Andrew Berry is going to start thinking ahead, because GMs do this. GMs are not only thinking about the holes they have on their roster this year when they're drafting, but they're also looking at players who are entering the last year of their contract, and maybe they don't want to replace them with a rookie the next draft. So he goes, hey, David Njoku's on a one-year deal. We gave him that franchise tag. I'd rather draft a tight end now so that if it doesn't work out with Njoku this season, we've got a second-year tight end in 2023, whatever the year is, and we don't have to draft a rookie then. Listen, Jelani Woods has awesome size, 6'7", 259 pounds. He can be a phenomenal target for Deshaun Watson, because I'm trying to think of like Houston Texans tight ends. They never really had a great tight end for Deshaun Watson. Let's get him one in Cleveland. Not that David Njoku can't be that, but I think Jelani Woods could be a super fun tight end for Deshaun Watson to work with, especially in the red zone, because the Browns need that red zone target. They were hoping Austin Hooper would be that guy. Didn't work out. Overpaid him. Bad contract. It happens. But maybe Woods can be that. A nice 1-2 punch of Woods and Njoku, a little bit of Harrison Bryant. Do I sprinkle him on the side? Not too shabby. I would not mind that meal. Speaking of David Njoku, he was one of the sneaky better players for the Browns last season. So predict this for me. Who will score the most touchdowns in 2022 for the Browns? You want to go with Nick Chubb? You want to go Amari Cooper in his first year? You can't pick Watson because that's not what the question is pretty much. It's rushing or receiving. Let me know down in the comment section who you think will score the most touchdowns for Cleveland this season. My next draft sleeper is Josh Paschal, the edge rusher out of Kentucky. This goes back to, what are the Browns going to do in round 2? Well, if they go wide receiver in round 2, then good chance they go defense early in round 3. And you know it'd be a great pick then? Josh Paschal. Last season for the Wildcats, 5 sacks, a forced fumble. What I like about him is he's played for a handful of years under Stoops in Lexington, and he's got some experience. He may not be an immediate starter, but let's say the Browns don't get Jadeveon Clowney back in free agency. Clowney shocks us all, which I think that would be, and goes elsewhere. Well, now you got to start thinking, who's going to be opposite of Myles Garrett? You really want to bank on Chase Winovich for all 3 downs? No, I don't. I'd rather go get someone in the draft who can be a nice depth piece. Maybe like Pascal in round 3, somewhere in that range. I think this would be a good sleeper pick. He's not one of the top 10 edge rushers in this draft class, but you know what? That's what the NFL draft is, though, a crapshoot. People get stuff all wrong all the time. Pascal would be a phenomenal pick, I think, if the Browns decide to go light on defense early in the round 3 and 4 with that 99 overall pick. If he's there, this could be a good pick. We're talking draft here, and if you want to get locked in for the best Browns draft coverage, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, youtube.com/Browns Report. We've got the best Browns draft coverage, like I said, and we've also crossed over 7,000 subscribers not long ago. We're marching on to 8K. It was my dream to get there before the NFL draft started. We've got about 300 subs away, so if you haven't subbed, make sure you hit that big red button and join the channel. Josh Williams, household name, right? Everyone knows Fayetteville State. No. D2 prospect. Here's what I'm going to say about Josh Williams. I did not watch many Fayetteville State games in the fall, but every single draft, you get that D2 product, and you think to yourself, if he's talked about this much coming out of Division II, something's got to be good about him, right? You don't get talked into the NFL draft when you're in D2. So Josh Williams, while the Browns may not have a super big need at corner, I don't know. I mean, the Browns GM, Andrew Berry, in his press conference a couple days ago, a good tweet here for, also a good follow, more for you, Cleveland, and me, Matthew Petey. But he tweeted out saying, Browns GM Andrew Berry alludes to the fact that Denzel Ward's extension doesn't change their thoughts on drafting another corner. My initial response to this was like a little confused because I thought, well, you took Ward 4th overall in 2018. You went Greedy Williams 2nd round in 19, and you went Newsome 1st round last year. That's a lot of investment at one position early in the draft in just the last 4 years. But Berry may be a player that, maybe a GM that likes to stock up, not on edge rushers, but more on pass coverage. And Josh Williams last season, actually in his entire career for Fayetteville State, 5 interceptions, 26 pass breakups. He's got good size, and what I like about him a lot, and I watched some of his tape, was he's got a good recovery. Meaning, if he gets beat initially, he's not toast. He's got good quickness and acceleration to make up for an early mistake and catch up to his receiver. So Williams is another sleeper to keep an eye on for. But since we were just talking about Denzel Ward, let's show him some more love. Like, the guy got paid. He's the highest paid corner in NFL history, $100.5 million. So spam his number, 21, to congratulate Denzel Ward for getting the bag. Some people were saying he may not deserve it because you haven't seen him play 16 games. I understand that. I don't think you're completely insane for saying that. But listen, Denzel Ward is one of the best corners in the NFL. And you have to face Jamar Chase twice a season. You better have a good corner to go up against him. We will be going live at Chat Sports for all 3 days of the NFL draft, all 7 rounds, every single pick. So make sure you are subscribed. Go to youtube.com/chatsportstv. I've got that link in the comments and the description of the video. So if you're looking for a spot to watch free draft coverage and you're like, where should I go on YouTube? Head on over to Chat Sports. The mothership, the big umbrella here above my head. Make sure you are subscribed for the best NFL draft coverage. Myself, Tom Downey, all the big wigs at Chat Sports will be breaking down every single pick. 5th and final draft sleeper is Taekwon Thornton. This is a sleeper that would be around 5, right? 4 to 6 range. And I've got him on here because I don't envision the Browns doing this. But what if Cleveland goes, wow, we did not expect someone like Devontae Wyatt to fall to us in round 2. And we didn't expect this guy to fall to us early in round 3. So we haven't gotten a wide receiver yet. How about Baylor Bear, Taekwon Thornton, nearly 1,000 yards last season on just 62 receptions, 10 touchdowns. So Thornton's got an interesting frame. He's rather built like a pencil, 6'2", 180 pounds, but it's his speed. That's what he's best known for. And I understand Cleveland doesn't have a 4.28 40 speed. Producer Marsh in my ear. But I understand Cleveland doesn't have an excellent track record. We don't need to bring it up, of drafting Baylor wide receivers. But don't let Corey Coleman ruin it for the rest of them. So if the Browns go defense day 2, I don't expect them to, at least not only defense, that is. But if they surprise us and all these great defenders keep falling into their laps and like, we can't pass up on these players, Taekwon Thornton would be an interesting pick for the Browns. A good sleeper in that round 4, 5, maybe even 6 range. So I just gave you guys 5 draft sleepers. Let me know if I missed anyone. Name a draft sleeper down in the comment section. If you have someone in mind, you think everyone's sleeping on this guy, I watched him play all fall, he's going to be an absolute unit, let me know who you got down below.